Bad news just continues to roll in for the Democrat Party, and I don't see a way that they can crawl or scratch or claw their way out of this, minus one way, and that is Uncle Trump absolutely, completely botching the mission, okay? Botching his presidency, and I don't see that happening. And I know some of you are like, well, Rich, you're probably a little biased. Yeah, I am, admittedly, but, I always come with receipts, baby. I always come with receipts. And that's what we're going to be diving into today. So with that being said, in this first clip that I have for y'all today, I have Benny and the guy from Rasmussen, Mark Mitchell. Let's dive in.
I said this a couple weeks ago. I said I never thought we would see it. We've been polling since 2006. Every day, we've been asking presidential job approval, and we've been asking right direction and wrong track. Donald Trump's doing pretty well from a presidential approval perspective, considering the Biden administration. But the right direction number has been the sleeper hit. It's been setting records left and right. Only now in Trump 2.0 was the very first time we ever had more people who say the country was on the right direction than on the right track. And there is this stunner from this morning. And this is not some single nightly overnight number. This is 5 nights. This is about 2,000 U.S. likely voters. So it is a very big and very accurate poll. And for the first time in our polling history, a majority of the electorate says the country's headed in the right direction. Absolutely stunning. Net +5. Never seen anything like that.
I'm sorry, I have to stop you there. Mark, this is the first time ever in Rasmussen's polling?
Going back to 2006. The highest we had ever seen before Trump 2.0 was, I believe, 47%, tied 47% right direction, wrong track, net +0. But in the Trump administration, we broke net +0. We had net +1. We had net +4 last week, and here it is at net +5. And we've never had a 50 handle, ever, period. Going all the way back through the beginning of the Obama administration, going all the way back through Trump 1. Trump 1 had some high numbers. He set a lot of records back then, too. 6 or 7 consecutive weeks above 42. We're at 17 now. So, this is just something. Listen, I'm a public opinion aficionado. I'm a pollster. I want voters to get more of what they voted for. And this looks like the report card for that. It looks like they're getting what they voted for.
So the way to interpret these numbers is that you never see numbers this high over the last 20 years, let's say, of presidents, since the year 2000. We've never seen anything above 50%. We've never seen anything near that?
We personally don't have numbers going all the way back through the beginning of Bush. I'm sure there were probably some periods prior to 9/11 where the number was pretty high. I think everybody was pretty jazzed at the end of Clinton 2.0 because of the surplus and because the economy was doing really well. But really, in the modern political era, you just don't see high numbers at all. Now, a lot of that's a great financial crisis. A lot of that is the concentration of wealth at the top and all of the tyranny that we've seen over the last years. It's been increasingly worse and worse. And this tracks with every other thing. But the reason it's so important, it's because we ask it a lot. Everybody asks it, and it's impossible to ignore these numbers. And listen, some of the other people in the industry are certainly sandbagging their numbers. But if you go look at the Real Clear Politics number, the industry aggregate of right direction, wrong track, not presidential approval, they're actually only about 1 point away from the high that they had back at the beginning of the Biden administration, which I didn't see, right? But they're almost going back to the best that they've ever seen since the beginning of Obama as well. So even the industry says that things are going really, really well, but you should probably take it from the only pollster that can actually poll Trump supporters. And yeah, this is unprecedented.
Unprecedented. A majority of people in this country say this country is going in the right direction. And once again, we got to lay out the backdrop. We got to give a little bit of context. That's with a mainstream media that is constantly 24/7 on a loop bashing Trump. Anything and everything Trump does, it's bad, it's terrible, it's horrible for the country. Democrats lying every 2 seconds, right? Oh, he's going to take away your grandmother's ability to live, blah, 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 blah. And even still, a majority of Americans say this country is going in the right direction. And we're just getting started. I don't know if y'all know. It might feel like this has been a long time, but we're still in year 1. We're not even halfway through year 1. Okay? We're just getting started.
That's right, Sean. There is good news today. Consumer confidence hit a record high, and also the highly respected pollster Matt Rasmussen showed that the majority of Americans view our country as heading on the right track under President Trump. This is a stark contrast to what that same polling showed under the previous disastrous administration led by Joe Biden.
Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. We gotta make sure she's attached to it. She don't get no grace either. She was most definitely a part of it.
Donald Trump's approval rating, according to a Rasmussen poll, 51% of Americans approve of the job Donald Trump is doing. And we like this poll. We looked at it. More than 1,000 registered voters from both parties. This is a real poll. This is a good poll. But the New York Times claimed that the only way Donald Trump could possibly have a good approval rating is because people aren't paying attention to what he's doing. That's what the New York Times said, meaning that on the same day the New York Times wrote about the reckoning over Joe Biden's health, the same day they are still lying about Donald Trump, from one lie to the next. And I'm sorry, but you just can't have it both ways. You can't write about how you covered up the cover-up at the White House and then on the very same day in the very same newspaper on the same page write that Donald Trump only has a good approval rating because people aren't paying attention. You can't come clean halfway. You're either going to be honest or you're going to continue to lie, and it's clear to us which way the New York Times is going. Donald Trump.
Once again, like I said, you got to consider the backdrop. Even still, they're trying to, oh, well, the people only say that because you're not paying attention. They're not actually looking at things for real. What?
Yes, and there are some surprises here. This is our May read on consumer confidence from the Conference Board. On the headline number, we're expecting a number somewhere north of 87. Comes in strong, 98.0. That is the best number since February of this year. Yes, and there are some
consumer confidence skyrocketing, with the backdrop of mainstream media, of course. But it continues to get worse.
Fundamental challenge for the Democratic Party. Trump has been making gains with their base. At the same time, he's been maximizing the Republican base too. This first map shows every county in the country where Republicans have strengthened each time Donald Trump has been on the ballot. And the second map shows you where the Democrats have gotten stronger each election. I'm calling these counties that have moved continuously triple trending counties. These are places where you really see the realignment happening in the country. The maps show the depth of the hole the Democratic Party finds itself in. All told, almost half the counties in America are triple trending to the right, while less than 2% of the counties in the country are trending continuously in the Democratic direction. The biggest concern for the Democratic Party, frankly, isn't just those top line numbers. It's the demographics and the complexion of those counties themselves. First, we're going to look at income.
So, over the past 3 elections, 50%, basically 50% of the country, because he said 50% of the counties, 50% of the country over the past 3 elections have shifted further and further to the right. While over those same 3 elections, only 2%, 2 versus 50. I don't think that's difficult math right there, right? Man, oh man, Democrats, oh boy, this is about to get out of hand, okay? Because even beyond that, right, and I've talked about this several times, the census, right? When the census is done, it's going to be even worse because we're going to have some electoral shifts to the point where, and it's projected, like I said before in past videos, it's projected to the point, it's going to be to the point where a Democrat can win the entire blue wall and still lose the election because of the electoral shift. I think Texas is set to gain like 4. Florida's set to gain like another 3 or 4 as well. Cali is losing like 3. New York about the same. Illinois is losing 1. Like New Hampshire or something is losing 1. Like Oregon is losing 1. And then like Tennessee's gaining 1, North Carolina or South Carolina, one of the 2 is gaining 1 as well. And there's like one other red state that's gaining 1 as well. So there's going to be a major shift that is going to happen. And the Democrats, listen, I don't see them turning this around anytime soon. And because once again, I keep saying this because it's so true, this is the monster they made. They cannot shift closer to the middle because of their base. Just saying, right? I I genuinely don't see a way that they could possibly win. I really don't. I really don't. Now, obviously, is the Republican Party perfect? No. We still got some rhinos. But, you know, we got folks like John Cornyn in Texas, who is about to be primaried by Ken Paxton. Ken Paxton is already projected to beat John Cornyn, so that is some phenomenal news. And also, you know, I saw something, and I'm not going to call these folks out, but I saw somebody post something, and, you know, basically, I don't know, I kind of personally felt like it was a little discouraging for Republicans because we have some rhinos that are stopping Trump's agenda. Trump is out here doing the best that he possibly can, but obviously he can only do so much. The president can only do so much. Congress has to act. And because we have these rhinos like Mitch McConnell, Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, John Cornyn, Lindsey Graham, amongst others, some of his agenda isn't being pushed through. And so, you know, I'm starting to see some folks like, oh man, Republicans are going to lose the midterms because, you know, we haven't gotten our agenda pushed through. And I'm like, why would we lose the midterms? Like that is so stupid to me. So you mean to tell me you're just going to hand it off to the Democrats because Republicans are being terrible? So do you expect it to be better with Democrats controlling it? I'm just lost by that line of thinking. The way that we should be doing it is primarying these folks like John Cornyn is. Ken Paxton is already, like I said, already projected to beat John Cornyn. Lindsey Graham, there was a poll that came out that said, I believe it was like 60% of Republicans said that they aren't voting for Lindsey Graham in the primary. So Lindsey Graham is probably going to lose his primary as well. That's what we need to do. It's not the time to say, you know what, man, they aren't pushing through Trump's agenda. I'm just gonna take my ball and go home. Like that line of thinking makes no sense. That only makes it worse. That means we put Democrats back in charge, which we already saw what 4 years of that looked like. And even with all of these rhinos going against Trump and a uniparty going against Trump, things are a whole lot better now. Do you want to go back to 4 years ago, to the last 4 years? Absolutely not. So what we need to do is become more active, show up in the primaries, show up in the midterms, and make sure we get these rhinos out. So when Trump tries to push something through, it actually goes through the way that we wanted it to. I mean, like, this isn't rocket science, but I'm seeing people online say the opposite. Not everybody. I do want to emphasize that. I mean, there's a small segment of individuals, but what I don't want is for that to metastasize. I don't want that sentiment to grow because it's detrimental, completely detrimental to the entire movement, and it makes no sense. But that's just my humble opinion on it. Y'all can let me know your thoughts and your opinions in the comments, and yeah, man, let me know what you think. Peace.